Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Holder. Welcome to my fifth and final speech for my communications class that I'm attending at Columbia College with my attempt to get a bachelor degree at Columbia College. Today's topic, we're going to be discussing the protection of America's drinking water. Please, I don't want to get the class confused on the differences between protection of our water versus protecting or the consumption rate that we use it. So I'm just going to be specifically talking about the protection. And I think it's part of all of our part to take responsibility in protecting that water and helping out in conservation efforts for the protection side of that. In the news, you'll see that Flint, Michigan, and the problems with the drinking water up there that they're experiencing, it's brought everything to a political light, and the topic is hot and heavy. I don't want to talk about politics right now and blame on what's going on out there. That's not my intent. However, I want to highlight the problems they're having in Flint, Michigan because of the way they're living. They're living off of bottled water, drinking bottled water. Everything they have to do is out of bottled water. I can relate to this because 18 months of my life I served in Afghanistan and Kuwait, and then during those 18 months I lived off bottled water. So we did have running water, but the running water that we could use for shower. But the problem there is if you had any open wounds or sores on your body, the water was contaminated. You don't want to let that get into an open wound on your body, or you would get infected. So I feel the pain of the folks up in Michigan. However, again, they have health issues with the lead. So for some people dying, and hopefully we can prevent that in the future. Every day in the United States, approximately 1,000 people die from waterborne diseases, diarrhea-related diseases from water. And this is an issue we all have to deal with. It's all of our problems, so hopefully we can all help out. Approximately 1 million people in the United States don't have access to clean drinking water. That's 1 out of every 6 individuals that is affected. Because of this, deaths are on the rise, and it's our responsibility to try to help out every American with this problem. So despite our current water protection laws and the levels that we're at, there's trends that suggest that all these problems are on the rise. So each region of the United States faces their own difficulties, and they're not all the same, so we have to look at them a little bit different. Solutions are necessary to ensure water is available to meet the needs of growing populations. Recommendations have been made. We all must promote sustainable water use and water protection. The U.S. Census Bureau says by the year of 2050, the United States population is going to increase to about 450 million people. So the growth is already creating negative impacts, posing resource management, and it's only getting worse. And these challenges we're going to continue to have to face. So 3 of those suggestions that I'd like to talk about today is one is local land use and planning. There's a city in Arizona, Savannah, Arizona, that's a new neighborhood that has incorporated some of these water saving measures and protection measures within their neighborhood, and they're saving up to 25 to 50% of their water and protecting that water. And they're doing this through low flow shower heads and other water saving issues from there. The second one is green infrastructure and planning. That green infrastructure, an example of that would be Salt Lake International Airport here in our own backyard. The airport is expanding, and they're expanding into our wetlands, and our wetlands is fresh water. For every acre that they take, they have to replace somewhere else, so we don't lose that. So that's a good example of one of the initiatives. The other one, the third and final one that we're going to talk about is open space conservation efforts. U.S. Forest Service is a good example of this because everybody knows the battle with the U.S. Forest Service and people trying to take land. But in the Forest Service, we do have water, rivers, and streams that we need to protect that water, make sure it doesn't get contaminated, because again, that's our drinking water. So in the world, approximately 75%, 3/4 of the world is covered with water. However, only 3% of this is fresh water consumable for humans to use. The problem with this is that 3% depletion is occurring faster than replenishment. So we do have an issue going on there. So we need provisions to help. And so the public should join hands in current use and protection, concentrate on planning and management practice, apply solutions to unsafe, unhealthy water practices. Watershed protection is one step. We talk about that here in Utah. We deal with it all the time. So we have our lakes and bodies of water up in the mountains, and we have watershed protections up there. A good example of that is on one of the watershed protection areas is you're not allowed to have any animals up and around that area or above if they were to urinate or do something in that area which would contaminate the water. So that's a good example of that. We need to protect our forests and the water, and this is a necessity, not something that is just we have been doing it, but now we need to do it. It's no longer an option. When this is gone, well, we're going to have problems providing clean and safe water. So most of the world comes from rivers and lakes. Unfortunately, we're getting to a point where it's too polluted even for fishing and or swimming. Water shortage will grow and affect everyone in the next 10 years. So we're all going to feel this. It's going to impact us all, whether it's going to be the price of water or some impact that we're going to feel. Every year we lose approximately 32 million acres of forest. So as I brought up the forest earlier, we need to protect those forests and take care of our water and the place where it comes from. So some steps we need to do to protect our sources. We need to prevent destruction and our forests and grasslands. We need to restore them. Help farmers to protect runoff, to protect our waters. What do I mean by that? Is what I'm talking about is farmers use a lot of pesticides and fertilizers. The runoff from those fields go into the drainage water, which again pollutes our waters. If we can help the farmers take care of that, it'll get better. We need to restore our floodplains. Again, that's almost the same thing I said about Salt Lake International, taking care of the areas out there so we have water out there. And then the very last step is to identify any threats to our water, take care of it, and protect it. So in conclusion today, and wrapping up this brief to you guys, again, I want to restate the importance. It's everyone's part to take a part in protecting our water. So it's whether it's your drainage off of your house, your driveway, or you're not putting something like oil or stuff into the groundwater. So please, I hope you can take everything I said today and apply that for the future of our country and our children. Any questions? Thanks for showing up today. I appreciate it.